Language Paper 1, Question 3, Writing about Structure. I know you all hate writing about structure, so what we're going to try and do is make you realize that actually you're only talking about what the author has done, how he's done it or she has done it, and why they have done it the way they have. If we take a look at the Jamaica Inn extract, and we look at what the author introduces the reader to at the beginning of the extract, the reader is made to focus on the extreme weather conditions that are being faced by the inhabitants of the coach. There are words like granite sky, that stony look that the sky might present, mizzling rain, it's punishing and it's almost disparaging. And we are also told that the air was clammy cold. This is something that the inhabitants would feel and experience inside the coach. All of our attention is focused to the weather conditions. And through its extreme nature, we begin to be aware very early in our reading that there is something quite dangerous and detrimental, either in the area or where they are headed to. If we look at the ending, because if we look at the beginning of an extract and the ending of an extract and try and see, is there a correlation? Is there a similarity, a difference? Is there a development? And what we notice is that just like the beginning, where the rain managed to somehow invade the coach as it fell softly through, quote, smudging the leather and leaving a dark blue stain. So at the end of the extract, we are drawn to what the rain is doing there. And yes, just like the beginning, the rain is invading, and we see this in the cold drip of moisture that fell upon her shoulder. The difference herein is where we are also introduced to a character at this very point of the extract, Mary Yellen, and her response to that is to brush away this drop of moisture with impatient fingers. So what we're actually noticing is that whilst this rampaging storm is occurring outside, and there is this entrance of some of that inside the coach, Mary Yellen as a character is not responding in the way perhaps the other characters in the coach are. In fact, her behavior and response to it at this point in the extract makes us realize that whilst the storm is quite formidable, the character Mary Yellen is formidable in herself, because she is sat there with her chin cupped in her hands, her eyes fixed on the window splashed with mud and rain, hoping with a sort of desperate interest that some ray of light would break the heavy blanket of sky. In other words, she is convinced that the conditions, the storm, the magnitude of it is not enough to prevent a very different outcome to what is being experienced at the moment. And so we have a moment in the extract where we are introduced to a character who is contrasted to the storm that is buffeting the coach. If we look now at a different idea of structure, and that is the introduction of characters and where that arises, well into the extract, we are introduced to the first set of characters in the coach. And what this helps to do is to almost show the inferiority of the characters, and also help to show them as victims of the storm. The first identification of the characters is where it says the line, the author says the line, the few passengers huddled together for warmth. That huddling, that cozying up and trying to establish almost a shrunken but togetherness within themselves shows them as the victims of the storm, as opposed to Mary Yellen introduced at the end as somebody who is parallel with the storm. And we look at another structural feature, repetition. Are any ideas repeated? Is any dialogue repeated? Are any situations repeated? And what we notice in the middle of the extract, again after the description of the storm, we notice that the author introduces a motif of fear and panic. And what that means is there are a group of words used that indicate fear and indicate panic. So we have the idea that some are fumbling with the window sash. He's cursing in a high, petulant voice and saying that they had no breath left in their bodies. All of these words reinforce the idea that there is an air of panic, frustration, and an inability to cope with what the storm is presenting. If we are conscious of the fact that structure is only talking about what has the author done, where has the author done it, and why has the author done it, then we can actually do quite a bit. Thank you for listening.